is a professional.
Right.
All right. And this professional is also wearing a bright orange shirt, correct?
Yes, sir.
Professional?
Yes, sir.
But wouldn't that attract attention?
I think that's part of the reason, actually. If I could elaborate.
No. You believe that professional assassins want to draw attention to themselves when they're carrying out murder. That's your testimony?
When they're framing someone, yes, sir.
So the answer to my question is yes. You believe professional assassins like to draw attention to themselves.
It depends on what the nature of their goal is, and if it's to frame someone, yes, sir.
So the answer to my question is yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Your professional assassin is wearing a big saddlebag, right? Mr. Gehrman has been killed, but if we watch this footage, isn't it true that we see the killer come back to the scene?
Yes.
And the killer seems to be looking around as if he forgot something, right?
I've watched the video. I don't know what he's doing.
We don't know.
Right.
But we know a professional killer killed someone in broad daylight, made it a point to park on a completely different street, but then for some reason decided, oops, I forgot something, and drove all the way back.
My belief is that he wanted to make sure to commit the crime, and then when he was done, he wanted to make sure the SUV was seen in front of the house.
So let me get this straight. We've watched the footage, right, Mr. Tellis?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that the Yukon parks on Wintergreen initially?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the streets, but I mean, if you say so, yes.
We'll put it to you this way. He didn't park on Bronze Circle, did he?
Not initially, no.
And by your logic, if the killer wanted to be seen, shouldn't he have just parked on Bronze Circle originally?
Well, I would have thought that, if he wanted to make sure he got the job done first, that he would not have actually parked the SUV in front to begin with. That's my belief, because, again, that isn't me.
So you have a killer who goes all the way out of his way to park on a completely different street, walks the whole length, does the killing, drives out of the complex, and then makes a U-turn, comes all the way back into the complex, pulls up, gets out, looks around for something, and you believe that's all part of the assassin's plan?
And again, I don't know what he's doing in that video.
No, I'm just using your words, your thought process.
Absolutely.
You believe that was all part of the plan?
I do. It wasn't me, so.
Sir, doesn't that look a little amateurish?
I would like to think that I wouldn't use my own car if I was actually the person who did this.
Well, doesn't it look a little amateurish to take the steps to park on the side of the street, then you forget what you dropped, probably your murder weapon, who knows, wear this goofy sun hat, a bright orange shirt. I mean, you really think that looks like a professional killer?
I do. It wasn't me, so yes.
All right, sir. And when you looked at the car, you thought, gosh, that looks just like my vehicle, right?
Except for the rims, yes, sir.
Sure, we'll get to the rims in a second. In fact,
you're always hopeful when you're running for an election.
You had gone out, you had canvassed neighborhoods, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were expressing to your friends and family that, I think we're going to pull this out, correct?
Obviously, you always want to have an optimistic face, no matter what, but I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to win or not.
Okay. But ultimately, you lose. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you don't place second. You end up placing third. Is that right?
Right. All three of us were pretty tight, though, but yes.
Right. Fair to say, in your opinion, if Jeff Gehrman hadn't written these articles, you probably end up winning that primary.
Probably, yes.
It had to be crushing, correct?
No, it was disappointing, but again, I knew that my chances were 50-50, so I was prepared for a loss. And I think my conciliation post on Facebook was pretty clear that, hey, you know what? We tried really hard. We gave it our go. But, I'm going to go serve families as a probate attorney again. I'm ready to go back to work. And, and I got a lot of support when I made that post.
Okay. But everything that you work for is gone because of a couple of articles that say things that you don't think are really true, correct? Especially about the work stuff, right?
It wasn't the articles per se. It was obviously Rita and Alicia.
Who got Jeff Gehrman into the fold to publicly tear you down.
They did, yes.
And he agreed to do it.
Yeah.
How this, at this point, as of June 16th, you still don't officially know how this one's going to shake out, correct?
Based on the fact that I never came out of third place during the whole thing, I was pretty sure that it was done.
Okay. But nevertheless, Jeff Garriman comes calling again, correct?
Mm-hmm. And it's about that truth website that I created.
Right. And you just say it's fine at this point. They won. Do what you like. Mm-hmm. Fair to say you felt resigned at this point?
Yeah, like just you know what? What's it going to do at this point? Whatever, you know.
Well, he wrote another one, correct?
Mm-hmm. That is, yes.
Fair to say you weren't happy with that coverage. It wasn't positive, was it?
Again, I don't remember if I cared or not. I know I started to poke fun at him on Twitter, but you know, it came to a point where it was just me trying to, I think, see if I couldn't get him to put more light on my website.
Okay. And so then on June 18th, he publishes this article number 3, correct?
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Yes.
And then just 6 days later on June 22nd, he publishes a 4th article about you officially losing, but pointing out that you remain combative, correct?
Yeah, which again was inaccurate, but sure. Yes.
Okay, so again, it's inaccurate reporting about you, the 4th one.
Right. Like I said, by this point, I was just having fun with it.
Well, let's be, Mr. Tejas, you didn't like Jeff Garriman by this point, did you?
I mean, sure. I did not like him.
You hated him, isn't that correct?
And I don't know if hate, I mean, there might have been various points throughout that where I might have felt like that, but I don't know that he was not a central figure in my life. I'll put it that way.
He is the figure that ends up causing you to leave your job as public administrator for Clark County, correct?
Again, I don't blame him per se. I blame Rita and I blame Alicia.
Sir, you just told this jury that if those articles weren't written, hold on, I'm not finished. You just told this jury, like 5 minutes ago, that if Mr. Garriman hadn't written these 4 articles, you believe you would have won the race.
Yeah. But again, if Rita and Alicia hadn't gone to Alicia's dad to ask for this favor, those articles wouldn't have happened.
So the answer to my question is yes.
Who I would hold most responsible is not Mr. Garriman.
Sir, that's not my question.
Okay.
My question is, you believe if Mr. Garriman had not written these 4 articles, you would have won the race, correct?
I do believe that, yes.
You hated him by this point in time, isn't that right?
I could not say whether I hated him by this point in time, and if how long I might have hated him, if,
Roberta said you hated him.
Roberta is entitled to her own opinion. I don't know that I ever said I hated him.
Okay. Sir, I got a question for you. If the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department wanted to frame you, why didn't they put the murder weapon in your house?
I think that maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I mean,
great question, because if the murder weapon that had Garriman's DNA in was inside your house, wouldn't that be an even better case?
Yeah, but at the same time, I think
But it's not there, is it?
No.
No, it's not. Even though, according to you, they control everything, they don't put the murder weapon on you?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
I think it does.
Okay. How about this? If Compass Realty wants to kill you, why don't they encourage Metro like, we'd really like you to put the murder weapon in there? Why didn't they do something like that?
I don't know.
That seems really odd that the most significant thing is not in your house, correct?
I think what's odd is that 5 days after the murder, that supposedly there was a shoe and also a hat in my house.
So the answer to my question, the most significant piece of evidence, the murder weapon, is not in your house despite your theory you've been framed.
That's correct, sir.
Let's talk about this. We've seen the picture of the killer. What's the most notable thing, by far the most notable thing on the killer's person?
It's either the hat or the shirt.
It's the shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that shirt is not in your house, is it?
No.
If Metro or Compass or Rita or Cliff all wanted to frame you, why didn't they put the bright orange coat in your house?
I couldn't speak to that. All I can tell
Doesn't
you is,
that sound not very professional if they're trying to set you up?
I don't know, maybe for plausibility's sake, they put half the
Oh,
stuff
they
in
want to
there. I'm
dial
not
it
sure.
back.
I don't know.
Okay. Here's another thing. Why don't they cover your car in Gehrman's DNA? Why did they do that?
Because they didn't have access to the car until the day that Mr. Mogg took photos.
But they have, I mean, they control everything. They take it to their CSI garage and they can rub it full of DNA. Why is there no DNA of Gehrman in your car? And if they want to frame you, why isn't it there? Do you have an answer for that?
Sir, I don't know.
Okay. But one of the things that we do know is that prior to your arrest, you do in fact wash that car, correct?
The exterior only.
You still wash it, correct?
Oh, yes.
And your testimony to this jury was, after Rita told me about the tweets about the car that I found so strikingly similar, I went out and washed my car. You told them that on direct. Isn't that correct?
No, sir.
You did your job correctly?
Yes, sir.
And if the stakes are really big, you want to make sure you're super prepared?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's over 100 images of Bronze Circle neighborhood in your house, correct? In your phone, isn't that right?
I don't know that they are, sir.
Okay, well then let's start clicking.
Plus, again, I wouldn't use my card.
It's not my question. My question is, this is contained in your phone, right, sir?
I don't believe so.
Okay, you don't believe so?
If it is in there, I didn't put it there, sir.
Okay, so the answer is it's there, but you didn't put it there, correct?
Again, I do not know that it's there, and I certainly did not put it there.
Okay, so we're just... Okay, sir. Sir, do you find it a little bit strange that when you find information that's helpful for you in your phone, you don't think there's a problem with it, but when there's damaging evidence in your phone, you believe maybe it's been hacked or compromised?
I do think that if someone was trying to frame me, that obviously they would leave the content that I made on the phone as well as whatever they decided to put on there.
That's a lot of photos, correct?
It would be.
It looks like surveillance, doesn't it?
It looks like a stupid way to do surveillance.
Right, looks kind of amateurish, doesn't it?
Right.
Not professional. Did you allow people to go into your office in the middle of the day and manipulate and use your computer?
I didn't allow it, but that's not to say that it didn't happen, sir.
So the answer is you had an edict that said you're not allowed to do this, correct?
But if I wasn't around or whatever, I don't know.
Okay. I mean, you would hope as the head of the department they would have at least not used your computer, right?
I would have hoped, but you'd be surprised what happened in that office.
Okay. Right, because of the conspiracy? Right, okay. If they hated you so much,
I don't think they know me to hate me, but sure.
well, I mean, they're willing to kill people over you, right?
I guess they would have hated me, yeah.
Right. And if they hated you so much, why didn't they just kill you?
That's a really good question, and I would like to answer it. My belief as to why they did.
Please tell me why they didn't
So-
just bother killing you.
Because if they'd killed me, would that have stopped the Nevada State Division from investigating them? No. If they killed me, would anybody have felt the duty to continue my work because I was actually doing this? I think so. So murdering me would have not discredited me. It would not have put me in a position where all the work that I was doing just got left by the wayside. It would make no sense to kill me.
So your theory is that Jeff Gehrman is collateral damage?
When you've taken into account the fact that months earlier we had this public feud, it's a pretty convenient way to do this.
So the guy who writes the articles that ends your career, they reward him by killing him?
Well, again, like I said, it was a pretty good way to do this.
Or are you just ignoring the testimony of all of the witnesses that talked about how your DNA was underneath the fingernails?
Again, at some point or another, I believe it was planted because I did not kill Mr. Gehrman. So,
Right. And by that logic, if you believe it was planted, you were at least admitting, yes, my DNA is underneath his fingernails, correct? Can you at least agree with me on that?
whether it came from a sample of the fingernails or a different sample altogether, I don't know. I couldn't tell you,
But
sir.
the answer to my question is yes. You're at least acknowledging my
No, sir.
physical DNA is underneath the fingernails.
No, sir.
Okay, great. So you're just going to disregard what all the other DNA witnesses said about this, correct?
And,
Okay, that's fair. That's fine. Totally fine.